Hello everyone and welcome back to the Perfect French with Dylane. Today we are going to see everything about the French possessive adjectives. So if you don't know what is a possessive adjective, in English it's my, your, his, her, its, or your, and their. So first we are going to see everything about them, then I'm going to give you 4 rules to remember, and finally I'm going to give you a tip to remember them, and then we are going to see all of them in examples. So like I said, the possessive adjectives in English are my, your, his, her, its, or your, and their. And while in English you only have one, it doesn't matter if it's feminine, singular, or plural, in French we have 3 different ones. So we have the first one, it's going to be masculine singular, the second one is going to be feminine singular, and the third one is going to be plural. So for the third one, it doesn't matter if it's feminine or masculine, as long as it's plural. If it's feminine, feminine, plural, masculine, masculine, plural, or feminine, masculine, plural, the same is going to be the last one. So first, let's see the one for the masculine singular. So we have mon, ton, son, notre, votre, leur. For the feminine singular, we have ma, ta, sa, notre, votre, leur. And for the plural, we have mes, tes, ses, nos, vos, leurs. So leur has the same pronunciation for the 3 of them because we don't pronounce the S. We don't say leurs. So we say leur, leur. So the pronunciation is exactly the same. So here it's more about having a good grammar and a good spelling. So if you think that it's already a lot to remember, well, wait for the rules. We have 4 different rules, and the first one is that French possessive adjectives agree with what they describe. So for example, in English, when you say his plate, you know that the person who owns the plate is a man, or is a person who refers as a man. When in French, we are talking about the plate. So the gender of the noun is extremely important in French. If you don't know about the gender, I will put some videos for you in the description box if you want to check it out. But here, all the French possessive adjectives refer to the noun, not the person. Rule number 2. So in English, when you have your and your, we have 2 different ones. We have ton, ta, tes, votre, votre, vos. It's all about formal, informal speech. So tu and vous. If you're talking about your teacher's ID, you will say your IDs, but in our case, because it's a teacher, you need to use vous, so it's going to be votre. Well, vos, actually, your IDs. In plural, it will be vos. We are going to see a lot of examples. Rule number 3. This one is very, very important. When a feminine noun starts with a voyelle or with a H, we are going to use mon ton son. A lot of teachers say that you have to use the first colon, so everything about masculine. I don't really see it that way because it only changed for mon ton son. Notre, votre, leur are exactly the same for feminine and masculine, so it doesn't really change anything that way. So always say, remember that mon, ton, and son, if the feminine word starts with a voyelle or with a H, it's going to be mon. And you can make that easier to remember thinking about all the nouns starting with a voyelle or a H are going to be with mon, ton, son. It's easy as that. And the rule number 4, it's always what I add. I don't think other teachers do. It's just that I see a lot of people making the mistake, so I always add it on the rules, is that notre, votre, leur have very similar words in French. You might have seen before notre, so that's the one that we are looking right now, and notre. Notre. So first is a different pronunciation, and it's a different spelling, and it's a different word altogether. Notre, Notre. So notre means or, notre means ours. The second one, votre, votre. Votre, votre, same thing. Your, and the second one means yours. And finally, we have leur. Leur is a tiny bit more complicated. There are actually two different words that are similar. So we have leur, which is there, the one that we sing right now. Then we have leur again, but it's going to be theirs. And then we have leur, which is them. If you want to learn about them and all the pronouns like that, I will put a video as well in the description box. Alright, so enough about rules and things to remember. I'm going to give you a little tip to remember them easily. Or at least I hope. So, if you remember a few weeks ago, months ago, I'm not too sure, we saw everything about reflexive verbs. You know reflexive verbs, we use them all the time, and you learn them right away when you start learning French, because we use it to say je m'appelle, tu t'appelles. So it's very easy, you learn that, I'm absolutely sure. Today I'm going to use je me lave, se laver, to wash yourself. So I'm gonna push a bit all the possessive adjective to make a bit of space, and then we are going to add the reflexive verb conjugated present tense. Je me lave, tu te laves, il, elle se lave, nous, nous lavons, vous, vous lavez, il, elle se lave. I can imagine I confuse you right now. We are talking about possessive adjectives, and I come with the reflexive verbs, and okay, this is going to make sense in a minute. So, maybe some of you already saw it, but if we look at me, je me lave. Me, so the M, is the same as MMM. Tu te laves, the T, is the same as ton, ta, tes. Il, elle, se lave, the S, is the same as son, sa, ses. Nous, nous lavons, the N, is the same as Notre Notre Nos. Vous, vous lavez, the V is the same as Votre Votre Vos. And finally, the last one actually doesn't really work. Il, elle, se lave, I always say to remember the E, and then it's going to be leur, leur, leur. I hope it helps you. Let me know if you have a better way to remember them. I will gladly share it in the comment section. Now that we saw the adjectives, we saw 4 rules, and we saw the tip to remember, we are going to see some examples. And I'm going to go line by line. So the first one we are going to see is Mon Ma Mes, which is my in English. We are going to see 4 sentences. The first one is going to be masculine singular, second one feminine singular, the third one feminine singular but with a vowel, and the last one is plural. I really invite you to get the PDF because I don't have much space on the screen, so I have to use abbreviation, but on the PDF there is no abbreviation, I have plenty of space, so it's probably easier to remember if you have the PDF. Alright, so the first one with mon. Mon. Mon chien mange. The sentences are going to be very simple. Mon chien mange. So chien is a masculine noun. My dog is eating. But if your dog is a female, we can say ma chienne mange. Ma chienne mange. My dog is eating. So it's way easier in English because you only have my. When in French we have mon, ma, mes. Next one, the feminine singular starting with a vowel. We have mon araignée mange. Mon araignée mange. My spider is eating. Some people have a spider as a pet. I am totally afraid of spider, but you know, some people do. and I couldn't find another animal starting with A to keep the same sentence, so I had to use that one. And finally, the last one, the plural. So we have mes chiens mangent. Mes chiens mangent. My dogs are eating. Okay? Now we have ton, ta, tes, which is your. So for the first one, ton manteau est bleu. Ton manteau est bleu. Your coat is blue. With a feminine word, ta veste est bleue. Ta veste est bleue. Your jacket is blue. So here, be careful to remember that it's not only the possessive adjective that change depending on the gender and the number, it's also the adjective at the end. So bleu is an adjective of color, so it's going to take a E because veste, jacket, is a feminine noun in French. Your jacket is blue. Now if we look at a feminine word starting with a vowel, we have ton étagère, we have a link here. Ton étagère est bleue. Ton étagère est bleue. Your shelf is blue. And finally the plural, tes chaussures sont bleues. Tes chaussures sont bleues. So here, chaussures is feminine plural. So the adjective is tes, T-E-S, because you remember, if it's feminine plural, masculine plural, it's going to be tes. Whatever the gender, if it's plural, it's tes. Now we have son, sa, ses. His, her, its. The first one, son téléphone est cassé. Son téléphone est cassé. His, her phone is broken. So here, like I say, it doesn't apply with the gender of the person. It's with the gender of the noun. So téléphone is a masculine noun, so it's son. It doesn't have to do anything with the person. If you look at the feminine word, we have sa lampe est cassée. Sa lampe est cassée. A feminine word starting with a vowel, we have son imprimante, there's a link as well. Son imprimante est cassée. Son imprimante est cassée. And finally, a plural, we have ses écouteurs, link as well, ses écouteurs sont cassés. Ses écouteurs sont cassés. His or her headphones are broken. Next one we have Notre Notre Nos. So now it gets a bit easier because feminine and masculine have the same word. So if we look at the masculine singular, we have notre grand-père est vieux. Notre grand-père est vieux. Our grandfather is old. Féminine, notre grand-mère est vieille. Notre grand-mère est vieille. Our grandmother is old. And if we take a feminine word starting with a vowel, we have notre arrière-grand-mère est vieille. Notre arrière-grand-mère est vieille. Our great-grandmother is old. So you see, it doesn't change depending if it's a masculine word, feminine word, or feminine word starting with a vowel. It doesn't change. It only changes for the plural. So we have nos grands-parents sont vieux. Nos grands-parents sont vieux. Next one we have votre, votre, vos. Exactly the same thing we are going to have the same for masculine, feminine, feminine, and then the only one that changes is plural. So we have Votre ami est arrivé. Votre ami est arrivé. Your friend arrived. Feminine word. Votre cousine est arrivée. Votre cousine est arrivée. Your cousin arrived. Then if we look at a feminine word with a vowel, we have Votre ami est arrivé. Votre ami est arrivé. And the plural one, vos amis sont arrivés. Vos amis sont arrivés. Your friend arrived. Now the last one, leur, leur, leur. Like I said, the pronunciation doesn't change, only the spelling. So masculin, we are going to see ils viendront avec leurs enfants. Ils viendront avec leurs enfants. So enfant is a masculine noun, but it can also be a feminine noun. It's un enfant, une enfant. It can be both. So here we have the feminine word and the feminine word starting with a vowel. Same thing. If you look at the plural one we have, ils viendront avec leurs enfants. Enfants. Even though we don't pronounce the S at leur, it's going to be transferred to the next word and it's going to make a Z sound. Leurs enfants. Ils viendront avec leurs enfants. That's it, that's all you need to know about the French possessive adjectives. Don't forget to get the PDF to help you review and remember them. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. Leave me a comment if you have a question. I try to answer all the comments every day. And I will see you soon for another lesson.